The day I discovered my wife's secret illness was the exact same afternoon my childhood best friend collapsed in our living room with a faded blue envelope hidden inside her jacket. It felt as though the entire foundation of my world fractured in a single, devastating heartbeat, leaving me gasping for air amidst the quiet elegance of our brightly lit suburban home. Before we dive into this profound journey of love, sacrifice, and unexpected truths, if you believe in kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a thoughtful comment, share this story with those you care about, and subscribe to our channel to join our growing family. Your support allows us to keep sharing stories that touch the soul and remind us all of the enduring power of the human spirit. For as long as I could remember, Clara had been the constant, soothing melody in my chaotic life, a friendship forged in the sun-drenched playgrounds of our youth and carried carefully into adulthood. When she called me earlier that bright, sunny Tuesday morning asking if she could stay in our guest room for a few days while her apartment underwent urgent repairs, my wife, Julianne, had insisted without a second thought that our doors were wide open. The sun was beaming brightly through the floor-to-ceiling windows of our sanctuary, casting warm golden light over the hardwood floors and making the entire house feel vibrant, peaceful, and full of life. Clara arrived carrying only a modest duffel bag, her pale cheeks flushed from the afternoon heat, though a strange, subtle exhaustion seemed to hang over her usually radiant features. Julianne welcomed her with a warm embrace and a tray of freshly squeezed lemonade, filling the room with the sweet, familiar hum of genuine hospitality. As we sat together in the sunlit parlor, discussing mundane details of our workweeks and reminiscing about old times, I noticed a lingering, unspoken tension passing between Clara and Julianne, a silent dialect of heavy glances that made my heart prickle with a vague, unsettling curiosity. When afternoon turned into late evening, a sudden and bizarre mechanical failure in our home's cooling system caused an unbearable surge in heat throughout the upper floor, leaving only the primary bedroom cooled by a dedicated unit. Laughing off the inconvenience under the bright overhead lights, Clara shrugged her shoulders and casually insisted that sharing a bed was no big deal, reminding us with a light-hearted smile of the endless childhood sleepovers we had all survived together during hot summer vacations. Julianne smiled brightly, agreeing immediately and bustling around the sunlit room to lay out extra pillows, her energy almost unnaturally high despite the stifling ambient temperature. Yet, as the bright afternoon light began to filter through the heavy sheer curtains, casting long, elegant shadows across the crisp white duvet, an unexplainable stillness settled over the three of us. I sat on the edge of the large mattress, feeling an odd, weightless anxiety rise in my chest as Clara climbed onto the opposite side, her expression shifting from light amusement to a deep, agonizing solemnity that instantly stripped away any lingering air of casual familiarity. Without uttering a single word, Clara reached across the small distance separating us on the bed, her fingers trembling visibly in the warm, ambient light of the room. She gently took my hand, her skin cool despite the afternoon heat, and placed it directly onto her waist, holding it firmly against the side of her body. My heart hammered against my ribs, confusion and shock surging through my veins, until my fingertips pressed against a thick, rigid band of medical bandaging concealed beneath her soft cotton shirt. I looked up, wide-eyed and breathless, into Clara's tear-filled eyes, only to see Julianne stepping into the frame of the doorway, standing under the bright halo of the afternoon sun, her face pale yet utterly serene. In that shocking, quiet moment, Clara whispered that she wasn't hiding a secret romance or a betrayal, but rather carrying the physical burden of a miraculous sacrifice that Julianne had begged her to keep quiet until the proper time. The reality hit me like a physical blow as Julianne walked over, kneeling beside the bed in the warm afternoon light to cover both of our joined hands with her own. Months prior, Julianne had been quietly diagnosed with a severe, rapidly progressing renal condition that threatened her life, a dark cloud she had hidden from me out of a desperate, misguided desire to protect me from grief while I was managing a fragile family business. When Clara found out by accident during a routine medical checkup where they bumped into each other, she did not hesitate for a single second. Without telling a soul, Clara underwent weeks of grueling tests and ultimately volunteered as an anonymous living donor, undergoing a complex, life-saving surgery just weeks before walking through our front door. The physical strain I had mistaken for simple exhaustion was the lingering recovery from giving a piece of herself so that my wife could live to see another morning. Standing in that bright, sunlit room, surrounded by the overwhelming warmth of the afternoon sun, the weight of their immense, silent love crashed down upon me with terrifying clarity. I wept openly, overwhelmed by a turbulent mix of profound gratitude, intense guilt for my own blindness, and an awe-inspiring respect for the bond between two women who had chosen selflessness over their own comfort. Julienne sat on the edge of the bed, hugging Clara tightly, both of them washed in the clear, golden daylight that seemed to symbolize a fresh beginning, a bright new morning after a long, hidden struggle. The silence of the house was no longer tense, but filled with a deep, reverberating peace that only comes when truth and unconditional love finally step out from the shadows. Over the next several hours of that bright, clear day, we sat together on the bed, talking openly for the first time in months without secrets, fear, or hidden pain. Clara explained how she had insisted on keeping the truth hidden until she was certain the transplant evaluation was successful, wanting to spare me the unbearable agony of hope mixed with uncertainty. Julienne held my hand tightly, expressing her deep regret for keeping such a monumental burden to herself, promising that from this day forward, our marriage would be built on absolute transparency and shared strength. Seeing the two people I loved most in the world sitting together in the honest, forgiving light of day transformed something deep within my heart, melting away years of subtle anxieties and teaching me the true, raw meaning of devotion. As the sun reached its highest peak in the clear blue sky, casting a brilliant, hopeful glow across our home, we walked together into the garden, breathing in the fresh, warm air of a world that suddenly felt renewed and limitless. The physical marks of Clara's sacrifice would heal, and Julienne's path to complete recovery was now bright and secure, anchored by the priceless gift of a second chance at life. We had faced the precipice of absolute tragedy in silence, only to be saved by a quiet, heroic act of friendship that redrew the boundaries of what it means to care for another human being. Stories like this remind us that true friendship and love are not measured by easy words or pleasant moments, but by the quiet sacrifices we make for one another when no one else is watching. It teaches us to cherish the people in our lives, to look deeper beneath the surface of everyday interactions, and to never take a single moment of health, truth, and connection for granted. Before we reach the very end of our journey today, please take a moment to drop a meaningful comment below sharing your thoughts on what true friendship and selflessness mean to you, or a time when an act of kindness unexpectedly changed your life. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May you always find the courage to forgive, the strength to love unconditionally, and the hope to believe in second chances every single day.